Today's session will be on UserForm module. In the previous session, we saw this worksheet and workbook module. So today's session, we'll see how we can work on UserForm module. So what is this UserForm? First, we'll understand that, and then we'll start writing program in this module. Let's go to the sheet. I have a table here. If you go here and click on this form, say open form, I'll get a form here. Let me just type here. I'm just trying to type some data. Then select the branch and I'll select some courses and I'll say submit. See, I'm getting one data here. That means when I click on this, there is a form which is getting opened. So whatever data I'm typing here, if you click on this submit, so what will happen? It will go and sit in this database. So this is actually created by using a form, and we've written a macro which is in UserForm module. So we'll see how to create this form and how we can code this or say write macro on this and take the input and put this in my database what you've created in Excel. Okay, so this is what we have in our topic today. Let me just close this. So what I've done is I've taken a similar kind of file here, same file. I'll try to save this, say Control S, and we'll save it in our folder where we have created our previous session. Let's go here. Set house. Say session 6. Save. Okay, so this is one table what I've created. Here I have this name, age, gender, all these fields. Now what we'll do is we'll create a form wherein it will take all the input and then it will get pasted here when we enter in that form. So for that, what I should do, I'll go to UserForm module and then we'll create a form first. Alt F11, we'll go to the UserForm. Then first we'll name this, right click, and here I'll say insert a user form. Click on this, I'll get one blank form like this. See, this is the form. If you go and check here, I have a toolbox where I'll have all the tools which I can use for getting the inputs for saving the data in this sheet. Let me go back. So here I have many controls. Suppose if you want to add more controls, I can go here and say add controls. Here I can still add more controls like this. But these are the common.
I think the session is not recording.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Session record ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ.
ಇದು ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ. I have recorded. I'm recording it here.
Okay. Sorry, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry about this. Okay, see here, I have a blank form here, and if you see here, I have these controls which will help me in creating the input, say controls, where I can take the data and save it in my table here. So what we'll do is first we'll try to understand the data and then we have to create the controls. When I'm actually creating the controls, first we should know what kind of data I'm actually using to get the input. Let's say name. Name usually it will be a text box. Let's say age, again that will be a text box. Gender, this can be an option, say either male or female. So what I can do, I can use a control which will help me in only selection. So we have something called as option button or radio button. Mobile, again that will be like a input box. Email address will be input box. But coming to this branch, I can have an input box, but sometimes what will happen when I say input box, if people will keep typing it, but if people will type, they might type the spelling wrong or something. So what I can do is I can give a drop down here. Here I have this course opted. So here the candidate can opt any number of courses. So we can give something like say say list box or some check boxes. Okay, so that the user can select multiple courses and he can use it. Say Alt F11. I'll go here. Let's try to create a form, and then we'll create some inputs where I can put the input and save the data here. So for that, we discussed about some say text boxes or say option button, drop down and list box. If you go here, see I have so many controls. Here I have this text box, sorry, label. Take this label and we'll put it here, and we'll try to name each control what we are creating. Here I'll say name. Okay. Next, here I have this text box. Take this and I'll put it here. See, you can increase this like this. This is the text box. First, let's create all the controls and then we'll see how we can write code on that. Next, age. What I can do is I can just copy this and I can paste it here. I'll put this here like this. I'll say age. Then I can reduce this because I don't require such big control. So age, this much space is enough, or this much width is enough for storing my age. Next one, we have gender. Gender means, as I told you, this can be an option button. See here, I'll go here, I have this option button. Click on this, I'll click here, I'll say male, and I can copy this, paste it, and here I'll say female. Right. So I have two buttons here, but I need to label it so that the user will know what is these two buttons speaking. Now what I'll do, either I can click here and take one label, or you can copy this and you can paste it. Say Control C, Control V, I can drag it here and I'll put it here. I'll make it as gender. I'll increase space. See? Right. Next we have mobile. Mobile, I told you it is a text box. I can just copy this, select this, copy this, and I can put it here like this. As I told you, you can either create or you can say create one new from this control. So I'll go here, I'll say mobile. All right. Next is what? Next is email. Again, I'll copy this, Control C, Control V. I'll put it here. I'll say email. Right. What is next one? Next is the address. I'll go here. Let me take this, copy this, and I'll paste it here. Since address will have more space, I can just drag this and make it the height little more so that I can type more values in this, or say more say contents. Address. So I have this name, age, gender, then I have this mobile number, then we have email address, and then you have mentioned as address for this text box. The two more options we have is branch and course opted. So what I'll do is I'll design it here because this form will become too big. So you can choose wherever you want. See, in this form, wherever you want, you can create the controls. Now let me go here. We'll take a drop down here. To drop down or combo box. Combo box means, so what will happen when I take this combo box? So it will act as drop down as well as the text box. Okay, that is why it is called as combo box. You can change this only for selection, or you can use it for typing the text like text box and selection both. So that's why it is called as combo box. Now let me copy this label and I'll paste it here, and then go here, say branch. I'll name this as branch. Done. Next, I have this courses opted. So what I'll do is I'll take a list box here and I'll put it here like this. and we'll name this as well. Let's say course. Fine. See, my form is ready now. Let me just reduce this like this. But after entering all this, I should have a button where if I click on this, the data whatever I've entered here, that should go and save here. Fine, let's go back. So for that, what we'll do is we have something called as command button here. This command button, what it will do, it will help me in saving the data, whatever is there here. So when I click on this button, so it will go and it will save all the data entered in this table. Let's go back. I'll select this command button and I'll put it here. I'll say submit. You can either say submit, okay, or whatever you prefer. Say submit, and I'll copy this and I'll paste it here. I'll say cancel. Suppose if I don't want, cancel. Suppose if I don't want to save this data, I can say cancel. Let me save. Now the design part is done. First step, what you should do, first you should understand what kind of control I need to create. Second step, what I should do, once I understood the controls, then I'll go and design it. After designing it, we have to rename the control so that it will be easy for me to write the program. Why we should write the rename it, I'll show you. Let's say I'm writing program on this submit button, or say on this text box, or any of these controls. Let me just double click on this. It will take me to the module where I write the program. See, double click, it says text box 1. When I say text box 1, that means it will be very difficult for me to understand whether it is for name or age. Let me go and double click on this age. See, if you double click on this, it says text box 2. Let me click on this mobile, it says text box 3. So while writing the program, I'll not know for each control, so what is the name. So whether the text box 1 is for name or age, it will be very difficult. So what I'll do is I will try to rename all the controls so that it will become easy for me to recognize or take that control for programming. Let me double click here. See, I'll try to rename all the controls one by one. You don't have to rename these labels because these labels we're not using for programming. Suppose if these labels are also used for programming, then we can name this. Otherwise, we can just ignore this, right? Okay. So how to rename this? Just select this, press F4. I'll come to this edit this property window where I can edit the names. Now it says text box 1. So what we should do is usually while naming, make sure that you'll use some prefix. Like for worksheet, I'll use WKS. Then for module, I used to use MOD. So likewise, for these controls, what we'll do is we'll try to start practicing the use of the prefix. Let's say this is text box. I'll say TXT, and this I'm using for name. I'll say name. Say enter. Next, I have age. Select this. This again a text box. I'll say TXT and I'll say age. Enter. Next, I have this option button. Select this. I'll say OPT male. Option button. I've used OPT. I'll say enter. For female, let me select this. Say OPT female. Say enter. Next, I have this mobile, email, and address. They're all text box. So what I'll do? I'll go here. I'll say TXT and mobile. Then email. Say TXT email. Then address. TXT address. Done. Next, I have this branch where the branch is actually a drop down or a combo box. So what I'll do here, I'll say CMB branch. Then this course is the list box. I'll say LST course. Now you might be thinking, why am I actually giving that prefix? So what will happen is when I'm writing the code, every control will have its own properties. So if I'm using these, say, prefix, say LST or CMB or something, it'll become easy for me to know which control it is, what type of control it is, and I can use those, say, properties in coding, and that will become more easy for me to understand and write the code more easily. Right. Now we named all the controls. Now we have these buttons. Let's rename these buttons as well. I'll select this. I'll say CMD submit, and then I'll select this and say CMD cancel. Done. Now I renamed all the controls here, and now we'll start writing the program. I'll show you what will happen when I rename the program. Previously, when I double click on this name, what happened? It was showing me text box 1, then again age, text box 2, then mobile, text box 3, like this. Now let me double click here. See, it says txt name. Then let me go to this age, double click, see, txt age. So this will become more easy for me to recognize on what object or say what control I'm writing the program. Let's go back to this form. Here I have this form. Now what we have to do is we have to write the program, but where should this program get executed? That is when I click on this submit button. When I say submit, all the values what I'm entering should go and should save in the database what we have in this Excel sheet. Fine. Let me double click on this. It says CMD submit. This is the name what I've given for the button, and here it says click. That means when I click on that, in the previous session we saw the event. Say the event was what? Selection change, or say workbook open. Similarly, for every object, so every control, we have these events here. So likewise, this click is also an event. When I click on this submit button, all these values should get saved in the Excel sheet. So first what we'll do is we'll see how to save the data. So first we'll do for only one value. We'll hard code it, and then we'll try to see how to make it dynamic. First, let's say I'll try to save the name what I've entered in the form in cell D6. I'll say WKS UserForm dot range of D6 dot value is equal to txt name dot value. That means whatever value is there in this control, that has to be saved in D6. Let me just execute this. Go here. I'll click on this button or say F5. See, I'll get this form. Now I'll type. I just typed one name and I'll click on the submit, because in submit is what I've written the program. See, can you see that? So I mention it as D6 and I say ITA is in this. TXT name dot value should be in D6. So that is what is happening here. Now what we'll do is similarly we'll do for all the other controls as well. Let me close this. We understood how we can actually take the value. So what we'll do is we'll try to write the same code for other controls as well. Now in D6 I'm saving this value, then E6 I'll save for age, and it goes on like this. But just observe one more thing here. If it is like only one row, that is in D6, then I can use this D6 or E6 or whatever. But I need to increase this. Say for example, first it should be D6, then it should go to say D7, D8, D9. So it goes on like this. So one below the other it has to get saved. So for that, what we'll do is just we'll go here and say equals, I'll take a count. That means how many values have been stored. I'll take the count from here, from D6 till bottom like this. This will take the count. Here I have this one record. I'll delete this. Now how many records I have? I have only 0 records. That means no data has been entered. This I'll take it in one variable. I'll go here and say dim intc as integer, intc equals wks userform dot range of, we'll say d4 dot value. Now what I've taken here is the count what I've taken. Now what we'll do here is, instead of this 6, I'll say ampersand intc plus 6. The reason why I gave this 6 is, the beginning it says 0, that means 0 plus 6 is d6. Now let's run this and we'll check whether it is working or not. I'll go here again, I'll say ITAS, I'll say submit. See, now this becomes 1. Now let me type another name. Now if I say submit, what will happen here? It says intc plus 6, that means now it is 1. So 1 plus 6, it is 7. See, it will go, it will save. So it goes on like that. So this is the logic behind what you have written the code here. So what I'll do is, I'll copy this and I'll paste it here and I'll say E6. Let me delete this. In E6, or say in column E, I want to save age. Done. Next, we have gender. Gender is not a text box. It is an option button. So what we'll do is, we'll keep this aside. First we'll finish all this text box and then we'll come back to this gender. Say mobile. Let me copy this. I'll put it here. That is column G, and here I'll say mobile. Next we have email. Let me copy this, paste it. It is in column H. I'll say email. Done. See, this name, age, mobile, email, and address. What I have. Sorry, we have address as well. Let me finish that as well. We have H. Here I have I, and I'll say address. Right. So now whatever is text box, that I have finished coding here. Let me run this and then check once whether it is working properly. So we'll go here, I'll type ITAS, then I'll give the age, then gender, then mobile number, then we'll give email ID, then I give the address. Now if I say submit, all these data should get saved here. Say submit. See, I had written code for name, age, mobile number, email, and address. So it is getting saved. Let's say cancel. Close this. Now we have to write code for gender, branch, and course. First we'll try to finish this gender. So we'll go here. How to do this? Here I told this is an option. That is, either I'll be selecting male or female. Let's go back. So what I'll do is, now it is a condition. It can be either male or female. So what I'll do is, I'll put one if condition here. Say if opt male dot value is equal to true, because it's an option. I can select either male or female. So whatever is selected, that will be true. Then else end if. That means when I select this male, so this cell, that is F6, should become male. Otherwise it should be female. So what we'll do, again I'll copy this code, put it here. I'll say F6 F. Here I'll say male. Let me copy this, and here I'll say if this is not true, then go to this statement and make it female. Let's save this. Now let me check this again. Go back. Let me delete this. We're just trying to check the code, that's all. I'll quickly type this. See, now I've used this gender as well. If I click on the submit, I should get the gender as well here. See, previously it was not coming. Now I'm getting the gender. Fine. Let me close this. So now we finished coding for these things. Now these two, when I say branch, I told this should be a drop down, and course, it will be a list where I'll be selecting. These things are what we are entering. This is just for selection. But here, though it's a selection, we have to have some value here. Say, for example, if I go here, see, if I click here, I should get that branch. Or I should have the list of course names or something wherein I can select and that will get saved here. So for that, what we should do? Let me go here. First thing what you should do is, see here, I made a list here of branch and the course. First, create a name for this, a range name. I'll show you how to create that. Select this. I selected the range of branch, and here in this address bar, I'll just type RNG branch. Say enter. When I say RNG branch, this range what I've selected will be named as RNG branch. To check that, let me go here. See, just select here. See. Now let's say this course opted. This also will create a range. So what I'll do, I'll select this, and in this address bar, I'll say RNG course. I'll tell you why we should create this. See, if you go here, I select this branch, this will be selected, and if I select this course, this will be selected. This is the easiest way of loading the items for these controls. So if you want to load branch here, so what I'll do, let me select this, scroll down. If you scroll down here, I'll have something called as row source. Select this button and click here. I will mention RNG branch and say enter. Let's check this. I'll execute this. See, I got all this. I was talking about this one as a combo box. Combo box means I told you it can be a text box as well as drop down. See, I can type something here. Go here and I can select. So anything can be done. Now suppose if you don't want the user to type here, then what I'll do, I'll go back, select this, and here scroll down. I'll have something called as style. It says style drop down combo. Click here, say drop down list. Click here. Now let me go and try to type. See, I cannot type. So that is the meaning of combo box. Combo box means it is combination of text as well as drop down. Suppose if you want only the list has to be selected, change the style of it so that we can only select the values in that drop down, not type. But same that row source. Let me select this text box and go down. See, I'll not have that row source. So each control, I told you, that is why if you name it with the prefix, it will become easy for you to, work on those controls by knowing their properties. Right. Next is course. This is the list box. List box actually will have a list shown directly here, like what we have this drop down. So drop down, what it will do, when I click here, then only I'll get the list. But list box will list down all the items available in this. Let me select this. I'll scroll down. Here again, I'll have this row source. So drop down and list box almost have similar kind of properties. Only difference is here, drop down means when I click on this, I'll get the list. List box will have the list of items displayed. Scroll down. I'll go here. In this row source, I'll say RNG course. Make sure that you'll give the exact spelling. Suppose if you're not giving that, see, it will not give anything and will throw error saying that the row source or what range you are giving is not available. Let me go here, say RNG course, enter. See, I got this. Let me run this. See here, I can select this. Fine. Let's go back, or let's understand a few more things here. See, when I say course, we designed this as a list box so that a user can have multiple selection. But can you see this here? I can do only single selection. How to do this multi-selection? Let's go here, select this. Now just scroll down here. I'll have multi-select. Can you see this? the property. Here it says multi-select single. What I'll do is I'll change this to multi-select. Let's go back and then we'll see. See, I can do multi-selection. Click on this, it'll go. But people, one more thing, just if you observe here, this looks same for single selection as well as multi-selection. How will the user know that it's a single selection or multi-selection? By seeing the view itself, we should know that. So for that, what we should do is we should change the visualization such a way that the user, as soon as he see, he should know that it is a single selection or multi-selection. Now let me run this. See here, it's an option button. If the user watches this or if the user sees this, then it will be easy for him to know that it's a single selection because it's an option button. But how will I know that this is a single selection or multi-selection? See, I just have a list here. So for that, what we'll do is we have an option here. Let's scroll down. We have something called a style here, list style. I will change this. See here, it says plain. I'll say option. Just observe what will happen. See, the style got changed. Increase this if you want. Just trying to increase this box. Right? See, I got a checkbox here when I change the style. Let me go here. See, if it is a checkbox, that means it is multi-selection. What if I want the selection to be single selection? Let me go here. Just change this selection, multi-selection. Here I'll say single. See, this will become an option button now. See, so you can do the changes like this so that it will be more, nice, or say more presentable, and the user can easily understand whether it's a single selection or multi-selection. Now let me select this. I'll go to this and I'll say multi-select and I'll make it multi-select and then I'll run this. See, fine. But for coding this, there is a different way of coding. I'll show you how to do that. First, we'll see how we can store this branch. Go to this submit. Again, we came back to that code. And here to save branch again, it's something like a text box. So what we'll do is I'll just take this and I'll paste it here. And I'll say this value, that is J, is CMB branch dot value. That's all. But now what we'll do is we'll see how we can store the multi-selection. When I say multi-selection, then I need to use loops because I need to know each value here. So in the previous session, we saw how to work on loops. So what we'll do is we'll see the same concept here. First thing what we should do, I'll go here, I'll say dim inti as integer. Copy this. We'll go here. I'll say this is for course after. First, let's put that syntax here. So what is the syntax? I'll say for inti equals 1, 2. I don't know how many times it has to loop. So how to get the count? Let's go here. One is I can take the count here. Say it says 12. But what if it's getting increased, some more data? So what I'll do is I'll directly take the count from the list itself. So we can take the list. So how to take the list count? LST course dot count. List count. See? This count, whatever we have, this will give me the number of items what we have in the list. The number of items in the list will give me the list count here, or I can take the count from here only because this is the count what I'm getting here in the list. Anything is fine. So I'm just showing you this because you know how to take the count from this. One way we learned from here. Let's learn another way of taking the count. Now there is one more thing what you should actually be aware of it. Whenever I'm using the list or this branch, okay, if I'm taking the value from that particular thing, the index here, say if you go here, see the index whatever is there, it will actually start from 0. So this also is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. This also is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. So here in this case, if I say list count, if I say list count here, it will actually take the complete count. Now for me, what I should do is, it says 1 to list count. That means this should be actually from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So whatever count is there, that will be like, say if I have 10, then it should say 0 to 9. So what I'll do here is, I'll say -1. I'm using this -1 again. I'm telling you, so list count, what it will do is it will just give me the count. But the index for this, or what we'll do is, I'll just not do this now because you'll get confused. Once we start doing this, then I'll tell you why we should use that -1. So forget about that as of now. Just I'll tell you in the end why we should use -1 here. But keep in mind the index number what we're using is starting from 0. Okay. Now I need to know what is that courses I have selected. When you go here, the user will not go and select only this. So suppose he can go and select somewhere here, and he can go and select somewhere here. So he'll not go always the sequential like this. So in this case, what should I do? Whatever the course is selected, whatever the items are selected, only that has to be taken, and it should put in this cell. So how to do that? First, we should know whether this course is selected or not. Each item is selected or not. For that, what I'll do is, I'll go here. See, first we took the loop, that is for int I equals 1 to list course dot count. Then here what I'll do, I'll check whether the course selected, the course whatever is there, the item whatever is there is selected or not. For that, what I should do, I should use if condition, that is selected or not. That means true or false. Say if list course dot selected, here it will ask for the index number. Now if I say int I told you this one, the index start from 0. If I say int I, this will be 1. So what I should do, I should give 1 less than that, -1. That means it will be 1. Here it says 0. Now don't get confused. Why I'm using this -1 is just to make 1 less. Or what you can do, you can start your loop from 0. If you are getting confused with this, I will make it like this. Ultimate aim is this index, whatever is there, it should start checking from the first index. Suppose if I'm actually going and selecting here, the index of this will be 0. If I say 1, what will happen? We'll start checking from this one. So it will ignore this. So to get this, I'm using 0. Okay. So for that, either I should start my loop from 0, or if I would have started from 1, then here I should say -1. Anything is fine. Okay. So if you're getting confused, then I can go here and make it 0, or we'll make it -1. Okay. Say if course dot selected, I given this index number is equal to true, then say end it. So what I'm trying to do here, I'm saying if this index, the say item index is selected, that is if it is true, then we'll take that, we'll consider that value. So what we'll do is the selected value whatever is there, we'll put it into one string variable. So for that, we'll go here, say dim str course as integer, sorry, string. Let me copy this. Here I'll say str course equals str course ampersand. We need a comma for every course it is getting appended, and here we'll say lst course dot list of int I -1. Again here I'll say -1. The reason is I should start the say the course, or say element, or say the item from index 0. So for that I'm using this, right? So if this course is selected, then append this here. So what will happen, all the course whatever is there, that will get appended here, whichever is selected. Then in the end, what I'll do, I'll take this value and I'll put it here, and I'll say this value, that is K, will be this str course. Let's check this. And again, I'll explain this. Don't worry. Again, I'll explain this after showing you guys the output. Let me select here. TAS. I'm entering. Select this branch. Let me select this, and I'll select this. Say Excel, Word, and Python. If I say submit, let me click on this submit. See Excel, Word, and Python. That is index 0, then 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8. So here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, and 6, 7, 8, 9. So 0, 5, and 9 has been selected, and it will give me the result here. Right. Now, let me go here. See, I told you I was supposed to give -1 here. Correct? If I would have started from 0 here, then I should give -1 here. But since I've used -1 here, so I don't have to give -1. Let me explain this again. I am actually looping so that whatever values are selected, that will be appended and it will paste it here. So for that, what I did, I took loops. Here I'm taking from 1 to list course dot list count. This will give me the number of items in that list. Next, what I'm trying to do is, in that loop, let's say I have 12 items. In that, whatever is selected, only that has to be put it here. That is in this cell. So for that, I'm using this if list course dot selected, and here I'm giving this index. Listed, the selected of index, the index number start from 0. To check the value from the beginning, what I did is I use this INTI, which is 1. But for me, it has to start from 0. So what I did, I just mentioned here as -1. If it is true, then what it should do is I've taken one variable where it will take all the selected items and it will put it in this string, that is str course ampersand. I want a comma separator. I've given this comma with this list course dot list. So what this list will do is it will give me the name of the item. Selected means it will check whether it is selected or not. List will give me whether the selected list, the name it will take, and it will put it in the str course. So once it will append all the courses here, then it will go here and it will save the value, or say put the value in column K. Now if you go and check this, I have an extra comma here because what it is doing is in the beginning this will be blank. Then it is trying to append so that the course, whatever is there, it will keep on appending like this. Say first it will be blank, it will take this comma and space. Then it will take the selected item, comma, space. Then again one more selected item, comma, space. So it goes on. But if you want to remove this, say I want to remove the space and the comma, so what I'll do is after all this, after all the course has been put in this str course, what I'll do is str course equals, what we'll do, we'll take a function called as write of the string is str course comma, it lasts for length. How many characters I need? Say I don't want these 2 characters, but I'll say len of str course -2. 2 means the first 2 characters. I don't want this. That means from right side, I'm taking from here till here. So what I'm doing, I'm taking the count, the entire length, minus these 2. So it will remain only these many characters and it will give me this value. Let's do it again. I'll run this. See? I'm just trying to put some value here. And then let me select here. Same course I'll select to show you how this will work, and I'll say Python, say submit. See, if you go here, the first two characters, whatever was there, that is removed. That is because I put one more statement here, that is str course equals right of. That means I'm taking the number of characters from right side and I'm removing these two characters, right? So this is for entering the data here. See, I had already one data, means one record was there. Since because of the count, it is going next. Let's go back. Now we actually coded for inputs, but there will be a problem sometimes. What is that? Let's go and check. Let me go here. I'll not enter anything. I'll just select only this course and I'll say female. I've not selected branch or anything. Say submit. See, it is still taking the value here. Let me close this. Again, I'll go and I'll run this. See, this time I'm not selecting anything here, just only the course. Now what will happen is, since I have the count as 2, it will take only these two. So 2 plus 6, 8. That means 8th row. Now let me submit it. See, it is taking the course and it is printing here only. That means there is a problem with this say form. So we have to validate this. So validation is nothing but I have to check if there are any bugs or if there is something what we have to check before the input has to be done here. So what we'll do, we'll make all these columns compulsory. That means name has to be entered, age has to be entered, gender has to be entered, and then mobile number or say email or whatever. So they have to enter this. So for that, what I should do is, any time when you're creating any forms like this, you should make sure that you'll do this validations. Let's go here. We'll do this validation now. So whatever we did till now was writing program for the inputs, that is the text box or say option button or list box or say drop down. But now what we are doing is we are doing validation so that the user will not keep any of these blanks or say without entering the data, you should not click on submit. So what we'll do is we'll do this validation. I will tell you how to do it. When I say validation, usually we use this if conditions. Let's say like this, if txt name, okay, equals blank, then that means double quote will say that there is no value in the text box. I'll say end if I have entered something like this, mean I'm not entered anything in this text name, then I'll give a message box, please enter name. We can give some VB information and I can give a title. See, after doing this, you have to exit the program. If you're not exiting, what will happen? It will check the condition, again it will go and run this. If you put this exit sub, what will happen? If you are not entering anything, it will display this message and then it will exit the program. Let's run this. Now let me try to submit. See, please enter name. It will not enter. See, it will not allow. So likewise, I'll just show this only for one text box so that you can apply it for other text boxes as well. This is for the text box validation. I'll show for numbers as well. So I'll show you the important ones. Next, you can apply this for other controls as well. Now this is for the text box. Now let's say age. Let me copy this. Multiple validation. I'll go here, I'll say age. Age also should not be blank. I'll say please enter age. This is if you're not entering age. Let's say I've entered name, but I've kept this age blank. See? So what if this is for checking the value if it is blank. So what if someone enters like this, any number? See, it'll take, see, it'll take the value here, but this should not go beyond 100. This value should not go beyond 100, or you should not enter text here. See, you can enter some text also here. Let me just type randomly. See, it is taking text as well. It should not take text, or it should not take the value above 100. So what we'll do, we'll go here, we'll put some more validation on the same say control. One is it should not be blank. Next one, we'll see it should be a number only. It should not take, say, non-numeric values. For that, what I'll do, I'll go here, not is numeric. So is numeric means it will take the numbers, and not is numeric. Here, see, I'm saying not is numeric, and I'm saying text age dot value. So this will check whether the entered value is number or not. I'll say please enter age as number. Let's run this and see. I'll type name. Your age I'll type as a text. Let's say submit. See, please enter age as number. If it is blank, see, it'll say please enter age. If I type some text, see, it'll give this. But what if someone enters like this? It'll take. But I have to avoid this now. That means I need to avoid such a way that it should take the value from 0 to 100 only. So what I'll do, I'll go here again, take this, go here, I'll say text age dot value is greater than 100, or text age dot value is less than 0. See, I got one more condition saying that if the value is greater than 100 or text age is less than 0, then say enter age between 0 to 100, like this. I'm just trying to give some validations here so that improper data is not entered. We run this. Now I'll type the name here. I'll leave blank. Say submit. See, enter age. Now I'll type a text. It will not allow. I'll type a number which is greater than 100. See, like this. Suppose if I select, see, sorry, here we have to select one value, so it's giving error. See, it is taking only these values. So this is very important. The validation is very important. First, let me just summarize. We understood what kind of control I need to use. Second, I designed the controls depending on the columns what I've created here. Third, we renamed the controls available here. Then fourth, we started writing the code for all this. The next what I did, we validated it. Fine, let me save this. Next is, let me go and say, click here. Now when it says submit, what's happening? It will submit the value and it is still lying there only. It is not closing. So for that, what we should do? We should close the form as soon as the entries are done. So one entry I do, click on submit, it should close. So for that, what I'll do is, first let's rename the form itself. Double click here, select the form here. It says user form. I will change this to FRM details. And you can see here it says user form 1. This is nothing but the label, or say caption. See here, I will change this and I'll say inquiry details. See, which is inquiry details, and here I change this to FRM details. Double click on the submit. Let's scroll down. In the end, what I'll do, I'll say unload FRM details. When I say unload FRM details, that means after all this will get unloaded. Let's run this and we'll type one code here. Let's say name, and I'll enter age, then number, email address, then address. Just select this. Let me select some courses. Now if I submit this, previously when I say submit, it was still on the screen like this. The form was not getting closed. Now let me click on this. See, the form got closed and it got entered. Fine. Let's go back. What if I want to click on cancel? See, this is not working. So what I'll do in cancel means what? It should just cancel it should just close without saving. Whatever I've entered, it should not get saved. Here I'll say unload FRM details and I'll save this. Let me run this. See, it'll get closed. You enter anything in this, and then if you say cancel, it will not save here because the program what you've written here, it is just saying unload FRM details. These were the forms. Now every time if you see here, I'm going to my editor and say F5, and then I used to type it and then say submit, and then the data will get entered in my table. But what I want to do is I want the form to be opened in this sheet itself. Somewhere I have a button, click on that, the form has to open. In the previous examples, if you want to assign a macro, I used to create a button, right click and assign macro. The macro used to run. Let's go to this insert and I'll say shape. Here I'll take one button and I'll put it here. And I'll format it. And here I'll say open user form. Let me format this. Okay. Now let me right click. Assign macro. See, I'll not find any macros here because I've not written any macros here. Okay. But I've written macros only for this controls, whatever is there. So how to open this? So for this, what we have to do is right click, insert, and here create one module. Directly, I cannot open this form. So for that, I'm creating one standard module. Say F4, say mod underscore, I'll say open form. I just rename the module. Double click here. We'll write a small code here, say sub open user form. Give the form name dot show. That's all. Say FRM details dot show. Now let's go here, right click, assign macro. See, I'll get this macro. Select this, say okay. That's it. Now let me click on this. See, I'll get the form. Me say cancel. If I'm opening from this editor, VB editor, if I say cancel, see, it'll go back to that place. But if I click here, see, it'll open. Now I can go here, say I'm just trying to type something. Select the branch, select some courses, and then if I say submit, see, it will enter the details one below the other. Suppose if I go here, say cancel or whatever, so what it will do is it will be within this sheet only. Now I don't want this database, say whatever is there, this should be very secured. I should not show this to anyone, but still the data has to get captured. So what you can do is, let me just insert one more sheet. I'll cut this button, I'll put it here somewhere here. Now let's hide this. Okay, let me click on this. Say I got the form. Let's say new data, age, let's say 25, and here I'll just type the mobile number, say email ID, new data at gmail.com, type an address, select here, see. Now if I say submit, see, I'm not seeing that table, but as the data got saved, let's go and check. Right click, unhide, see, the data is saved here. That means you don't have to always open this sheet here. You can hide this and you can enter the form and you can save the data as well. Okay, so this is what we have in our user form, and let's go to this user form. So here I can create one user form. Here I have this controls where this will be used for creating controls like this, and these controls are actually like inputs for entering the data, and then I can write programs so that the data what I've entered here that can be saved in my Excel sheet, or it's not only an Excel sheet, I can also save this in my say Access or any other applications as well, and then we can use it in my Excel sheet by creating a button like this. So if you want to open with the button, then I have to create one standard module and you have to write a small code like this and then assign that macro to this button and then click on this. I'll get the form open. Okay, so this is what we have in today's session. As I told you, this session is very small topic, so I'll end this session here, but still we have a lot of time. If you guys have any doubts, please ask me, I'll answer it.